When you want your LogiX nodes to remember something, you need variables. For example, if I click on this chicken enough times, it violently explodes. I used a variable to keep track of the number of times that it was clicked on. Let's go over the basics of using variables. These have their own category, and all of the usual data types are available to use. For this demonstration, we'll just use a float. By default, numeric variables have a value of 0. To change a variable's value, we need a write node. Say that our goal is to change this variable's value to 42. So clearly, we need a float input. This defines the value that the write node will apply to its target. Okay. Any node that has a white input means that it's expecting some kind of trigger or activation node, which means that unless a certain condition is met, this node will not do anything. The simplest way to test out a triggered node is to use what is called an impulse. You can find it here in the node selector, but also know that pulling out a strand and pressing the secondary action button will also create an impulse node. With that in place, I can plug this output into the variable itself. This final white output is optional. It is only needed if you want this node to trigger another node when it is activated. Now, if I activate this pulse by pressing the trigger button, it will write the value of 42 to this variable. Anything that this variable happens to be hooked up into will be affected by this change. It's also worth mentioning that the write node is very useful for making changes to an object's properties without constraining them. If I hook up the write node to alter an object's position, for instance, it's not going to take away my ability to interact with it because this is a one-time change.